Hey everybody, welcome to Trading Capital's daily live stream of the market open. Today is currently April 6th, and as we kick off the final trading week, it is a shortened week, so volume should be a little bit lighter today. There's a few things we're watching. So markets are gapping down, weakness in the report numbers. The employment market is sending stocks lower. It actually popped the dollar, go figure, but it has also kind of put yields, it dropped yields initially and now they're spiking. A couple things that we're keeping on the radar: boil for a long. Nat gas is getting a bounce ahead of that level, so basically what I'm waiting for is a retrace back down to around 217 on the actual nat gas charts, which we hit and bounced on, and then I'm looking for maybe a 216 pierce. So you can see natural gas actually hit one of the levels that I put out on the screen. Actually, let me just flip to the other chart here, capital.com. So I did have a major technical level here right at this pivot, which we hit. So we want to see if it can go a little bit lower if we're going to play long. We're also looking at Tesla for a long trade. The levels on Tesla I've put on the screen already. Basically, it starts getting intriguing around 181.10, appears of 181. And then you can see there's a couple of layers of support intraday that are layered in there. Really, that's pretty much it for now. If anything else jumps on the radar as we open, I will obviously call it out. But as of now, that's the big thing. We have Costco gapping down on earnings, on just a little bit of a pre-release on earnings. That was also followed by weak guidance by Walmart. So clearly two big consumer staples are showing exceptional amounts of weakness. And Costco is really the big one because it is definitely that market moving stock. It's one of those safe haven plays. So let's just be ready for this market open. We have about 2 minutes. We're going to be opening the market here. Spiders will be gapping down, so we'll keep that on the radar just so we can see the market sentiment. Definitely be ready for the potential plays in Tesla or in nat gas. Those are really the ones that are on the radar. Nat gas is getting a bounce, so definitely be ready. All right, markets are set to open here very, very soon. Let's get ready to rock and roll. Nat gas is holding up well, so that one might be off the table because it is bouncing. So Tesla is probably the main focal point here. All right, markets are open. Tesla's gapping lower. Keep Tesla on the radar. That one's coming in. Spiders are under a little bit of pressure this morning. Tesla's catching a bounce at the open. Of course, the spiders are too. Nat gas is bouncing. Nvidia's weak. Continuous weakness in the semis. The Qs are holding up okay, but definitely weakness in tech. Tesla's off the lows. AI's down. Oil's catching a bid. Coinbase is under a lot of pressure this morning as well. I am watching AI as well. We'll see if the volume starts to lighten up at all. Microsoft's hitting some hourly support. AI is trying to pop up. Tesla level still valid if we get some extra selling, and we could definitely see selling in this market because of the fact that people may not want to hold over the weekend. So keep Tesla on the radar. That one is coming down. Spiders are also coming down. Apple still hasn't taken out the lows from yesterday. Ooh, XOM, big dump on XOM. So this market should come down more. Spiders are still selling. You have Schwab down. SoFi's down. Pfizer's up. Tesla's down 1.5. Nvidia's down over 1%. Bitcoin's taking a dump. Healthcare is remaining strong. Let's take a look at Costco again. Costco's catching a small bid. Bitcoin's getting bought up. XOM, big dump on XOM. Wow. AMD is making a new low. Coin is also heading lower, making a new low. Spider, big sell on the spiders. All right, keep Tesla on the radar, guys. I like that 181 Pierce level. Do a 1-6 position because it is high risk. But I am interested in a Tesla long. Spiders, big sell. All right, Tesla's coming up here, guys. AI is coming down. Nvidia, big sell. Big sell coming in here. Big sell. And really, the spiders, the downside level that I have on the spiders, they could take us all the way down to 402.70. Believe it or not. Tesla's getting a small bounce. Microsoft's at the dead lows. Tesla's still coming down. This one's going to be the first one on the radar. 181.10 is first support, but I want to pierce that 181 whole number. I think we can get it. All right, it's coming in. All right, Tesla's hitting that first support. All right, guys, I'm long Tesla here. I just got filled at 180.92, 180.92. It's a 1-6. So 180.92. Next add level will be this Pierce of 180, 179, basically $1 lower. So 179.93. So Tesla's getting a small bounce here. Spiders are still at the lows. Gold has had a bounce. The dollar softened slightly. So we are long Tesla at 180.92. Can even get a better entry than I have gotten here. But I will add again at this 179 Pierce. Spiders are still at the lows. Tesla's still trying to fight here. Apple's heading lower. Nvidia's called a small little bounce. All right, get ready to add to Tesla again. So pierce to that 180 level on Tesla. I will add again. But we're coming down. Spiders are trying to get a small little bounce here. Nothing crazy yet though. Nvidia's down 1.48. Amazon's negative. All the mega caps are pretty much negative, except for some of the healthcare ones. Healthcare is the resilient sector right now. So keep an eye on Tesla here again, guys. I'm going to look for a pierce of that 180 level. A pierce of that 180. It's getting a small little bounce here. Dollar has softened a little bit. Russell's coming in now. You can see some buyers are coming in Tesla. I do like AI around 1950 as well. Alright, I just bought some more Tesla. I'll let you know what I got filled at here. 179.90. 179.90. So my average now on Tesla, it's a 2-6 position. 180.37. We're in the money nicely. 180.37. Alright guys, Tesla's popping up. Tesla is popping up. If Tesla can get over that 181, that's going to be my level to take some profits. Let's see what type of bounce we get here. Alright, spiders are trying to bounce. Tesla trying to bounce as well. Apple's still under a lot of pressure. Tesla's still under a lot of pressure. The next level after this would be, alright, Tesla's pushing, guys. Alright guys, I'm out of Tesla. I just sold at 181.15. 181.15, boom. That's how we like to do it. In and out, beautiful little profit there. Thank you very much. That is a profit of 181.15. 75 cents. 75 cents. I had 300 shares. Nice job. That's what we like to do. All right, now we sit back. Let's see if there's any other opportunities. Any other opportunities here? Tesla's coming back down. I would replay Tesla again if it pierced this low. So if Tesla pierced that 180 level again, we could potentially play. Oh, spider, big dump. Big dump on the spiders. Let's take a look at AMC. I'll keep Tesla on the radar. AMC's had a pretty big gap up here. Still nothing on AMC. Take a look at the spiders. I'm still watching Tesla again because I am potentially interested in going again on Tesla, but it needs to pierce that low around 179.76. Nvidia's got a big bounce. Nat gas is bouncing as well. Crypto's still under a lot of pressure. Meta's still trading near the lows. AMD's having a pretty big bounce off the lows. Spiders are still under pressure this morning though. So it seems like a lot of people don't want to hold over the weekend, and I don't really blame them. That's Tesla. Take a look at Nvidia. That's getting a little bit of a bounce. So the Qs, let's see where the weakness is today. Weakness is definitely all around. Qs are weak, but the spiders look to be under a lot of pressure. Down 0.39%. Still coming lower. Spiders just made a brief new low. Tesla's coming back in, so keep Tesla on your screen again. I will play that for a long again, but we need to see a little bit of a more of a substantial low in the chart. Okay. Spiders are getting a bounce though. Tesla's still coming lower. I repeat, Tesla is still coming lower. Apple's still challenging the lows. Nat gas is coming back down again. Spiders are at the lows, so spiders are under a lot of pressure. You break and close below these pivots, and I mean, really it sets us up for a potential flush down to around the 404.30 to basically 402. Max move today that I calculated was around 402.65. And the big question, are stocks starting to price in a recession? That might be so. All right, next level on Tesla, 178 long. 178 long. Pierce that 178. If the spiders really start selling, I may adjust it and lower that target, but as of now, spiders around 178. But definitely some interesting price action today. People seem to not wanting to be hold as much, but the volume should lighten up. Nat gas is still holding up. Oil's starting to soften, so energy's kind of mixed this morning. It is holding up better than the market. AI is getting a nice pop. AI. Good pop on AI. Nvidia's still down. AMC's up over 2. Cisco's down pretty sharply. Still watching Tesla as well. The VIX is spiked up nicely. That's up over 2%. Our markets are still trending lower here. The spiders are making fresh new lows. I have a potential long on the spiders. It's a little bit lower though. A little bit lower. I'll watch it closely. I prefer to play Tesla. Crypto's under a lot of pressure this morning. Coinbase as well. Google's still holding positive. Nvidia's down. Apple's just off the lows. Tesla's looking still very weak. And it's looking weak, like it wants to go lower. Oil's still under a lot of pressure. The KRE is actually holding up relatively well, but the Russell's starting to come down now. So the Russell weakening along with mega cap tech and the SPY is a recipe for disaster. That's like the worst case scenario for all the stocks. Tesla's coming down still along with the S&P. Spiders are still near the lows. Just being patient here. Tesla's still holding that major pivot low. Markets are bouncing here. Big bounce on the spiders. Big bounce. The dollar's also bouncing, so the question is, will it last? Big bounce on AI. Gold is still under a lot of pressure this morning. Nvidia's catching a big bounce. I do like Amazon for a potential long trade. It would have to go down to about 98, 80, or not, a Pierce of 99. Pierce of 99. The dollar's catching a bid. Spiders are catching a small rally here. That gas is back under pressure. Costco's still down quite substantially. Spiders are still under pressure. They're not out of the woods here. Apple's starting to sell off some more now. Dixie's starting to surge. Nat gas is coming down. So keep nat gas on the radar. Home builders are starting to get wrecked. Home builders are under a lot of pressure. The likes of KB Homes finally coming in, ITB. So whenever those home builders are weak, that shows that the market is exceptionally weak, because those are definitely some leading stocks. 100% some leading stocks. Tesla's bouncing. No other trade setups yet. We may have a spider long. I would like to see it flush down some more. Potentially around the 405.20 level, 405.22. There should be some support there. I'll just put in a little trend line here around the 405.20 level. There should be some support there. We'll see if it can flush down to there. We may have a spider long, but we just want to be patient. We have one winner in our pocket. We don't want to get crazy and jump into anything. The positive is that the financials, the KRE is bouncing. Surprisingly, the KRE is seeing money flow over the weekend. I would not be buying banks personally, holding them over the weekend, because we all saw what happened with Credit Suisse. They blow up over the weekend, and then you get stuck holding the bag. Apple's at the lows. We do have big employment data tomorrow. Obviously, that's important because the market's closed. They generally like to release negative data along the periods where the market is closed, just so it kind of disguises the selling, or the potential selling, I should say. Spiders are bouncing. Decent bounce still trying to come in on the spiders. The Dixie remains strong. Bitcoin's near the lows. Gold's near the lows. So that's definitely under pressure. Still interested in a long on nat gas via the Boyle ETF. I'm also watching Amazon. Meta's creating a little bit of a bid off the lows. Tesla's still on the radar for a potential long. Google's still holding up. AMC, let me take a look at AMC to see if there's a potential short trade on AMC. You have the gap fill. All right, there's an aggressive short trade on AMC around 475. I would like to see it hit there. And again, this is aggressive because if the markets catch a bounce, this thing can fly. It's aggressive. I'll have to really call that out on the fly. I don't know if it's my favorite yet. It's not really jumping off the screen at me. The conservative level would be at around a Pierce of $5. Home Depot short is planning out to be a very, very good one as of now. Spiders are still selling. They're under pressure. Not out of the woodworks here. Volatility is taking a small breather. Small breather. The Dixie is putting in a little bit of bullish consolidation. Home builders are where the clear weakness is. You know what? We actually may have a long on Pulte Homes. Let me just isolate down a level. PHM is the ticker. PHM. Okay, where I like Pulte Homes for a long, there's two different levels, 57.51 and 57.27. Or sorry, 57.30. So let me just pull that chart up. PHM. Let me just do a quick double check on the volume, just to make sure it's liquid enough. Yeah, we're trading. It's a little light on the volume. I'm gonna have to wait on that aspect because it's a little light on the volume. The volume yet is not what I like to see. But the level for a bounce is likely around 57.50. It is approaching. And then you have a secondary level at 57.30. Meta's creating a nice little bounce here. Nat Gas is still under pressure. Amazon's still coming down. Spiders are still under pressure this morning. Apple's trying to bounce. Nvidia's bouncing. So semis are catching a bid. Keep Tesla on the radar. I still like Tesla because that's still coming down. Still a lot of pressure here for the spiders in a very light volume environment. Amazon's coming down, so that might be on the radar. Really, the spiders' bigger support is around here. And then, believe it or not, the move I have calculated down today, I don't know if it'll get there, but the potential is around 402.71. So that would imply we would have to see some serious selling. Another $73.15 down. AI's had a nice bounce. Take a look at AI. We're being resilient. We traded that yesterday. Spiders are still trying to hold on to some of these gains here. Russell's starting to come down again. Healthcare is actually starting to weaken as well. So maybe we see capital rotate out of healthcare into tech, perhaps. Costco's still coming down. I don't have an interest in trading Costco. We are short. If Costco were to flush down to 470, pierce the 472, that would be the first level that it would intrigue me for a long play. So Pulte Homes is hitting that first support. I'm not going to play it because the volume is a little bit too light for me. Volume is a little bit too light for me. But there is some support range over here. But home builders, I mean, even if you look at ITB, you know, they're getting demolished today under a lot of pressure. And finally, this is one of the leading sectors that I believe is going to have its turn and have a massive decline to the downside. But basically, you break this level and get a daily close off of that wedge. That's nasty. That is nasty. Definitely keep home builders on your radar. GDX is still under pressure. Home Depot's under a lot of pressure. I do like the Amazon level around 99 bucks, around that whole number, 99.10 maybe. So keep Amazon on the radar. Apple's still negative but trying to bounce. Now the big question is, are we putting in bearish consolidation here on many charts? That's the big question. Coinbase is starting to bounce. Semis are bouncing as well. McDonald's is seeing another round of selling. Big bounce on the spiders. Big bounce on the spiders here. So take a look at that PHM. Those levels we gave you. Got a nice big bounce. So if you took that, congrats. I just didn't meet my volume criteria. Gold is still under pressure. Gold is seeing a big dump. Let me see if there's a level on gold we can trade on the daily chart here. Basically, gold had this breakout here. You never confirmed. It would have to retrace down to about this 1980, 1990 level. But with the dollar putting in nice little bullish intraday consolidation, you can see here this nice little flag forming. That potentially could be negative for the markets as we move forward. Apple's getting a big bounce. XOM right back to the highs. Big bounce in the spiders coming through here. Home builders are still under pressure, but also trying to hold up. Amazon's catching a minor bounce. How's the Dow doing today? Let's take a look at the industrials. Industrials have caught a little bit of a bid trying to go green. Probably means the Dow is also probably trying to move up. No, the Dow's still weak. How about the transports? Those are trying to go positive. Look at that big bounce coming in the spiders. That's definitely mega cap tech. Single-handedly mega cap tech is getting a big bounce. Gold's still under pressure. Microsoft, big bounce. Microsoft, I believe, is now almost positive. And we'll see if we get a pattern where we can go long, because it does look like the volume is lightening up. It looks like the markets maybe want to float up. We'll see if we get a float to the upside in this market. We really have to pay attention to those volume trends. But again, it doesn't matter if the volume is light and the dollar starts to pop and break this flag pattern, along with even the 2-year yield rising. You know, we take a look at this 2-year yield. That's putting in a bull flag pattern that's breaking. So you get above this red bar high, you want to move to this, attack this zone. So just pay attention to the yields as well. Gold's still coming down. Volatility is being sucked out of the market now. Some of the defensive stocks like Coke, McDonald's are under pressure, so money's flowing back into big cap tech. Maybe thinking they'll be the safest over the weekend because they have huge cash moats, steady business. But we will see. Tech is not immune. Microsoft still raging higher. Filled its gap and is almost positive. I believe it just went positive briefly. Spiders are still stuck under this key trend line here. Basically, here is your left, your head. Just want to see this quickly here. That pivot is at 407.44. So this trend line is important because this is your left shoulder, your head, your little right shoulder, your inverse head and shoulder pattern, which was going to break out to the upside and take you to around 409, and that pattern failed. And now you've retraced, and that's the big level you need to get above. If you can recapture that, you have the ability to float up to this 407.82. But you can clearly see there's resistance that lies there. Markets are still being sold into. Nothing else that's jumping on the radar as of yet. Could still change. Tesla's down 1.5. Nvidia's had a nice bounce. Spiders are coming in though. Nvidia's trying to push for that gap fill. We'll see if they can do it or not. Wow, that Pulte Holmes probably should have taken it because look at that bounce. Wow, right off of that level. That's a massive day trade bounce. I mean, that's a 30-40 cent bounce in the home builders. Jeez. It's a big bounce. It's okay, just one winner in the pocket. You never want to go too aggressive on the day before a holiday because that's when you get hurt. And I'm okay just sitting back, sussing out this market, seeing where things transpire. Q's almost filled a gap but missed it. That's a little disappointing. Spiders are trying to attack the trend line again. They probably will get through due to the fact we hit that level. Q's are lifting this market. Nvidia is trying to go positive. So after Nvidia is down over 1%, it's actually trying to go positive here. Big bounce in the market's occurring here. Big bounce. Spiders are pushing big here. This is being led by Apple, Nvidia, and Microsoft. Really, three stocks are pulling this market out of the depths of the lows. Doesn't mean we can't come down still. Does not mean we can't sell off still. AMD's pushing up. Big test will be if the spiders can't get a 5-minute close above this level. If you get a 5-minute close, there's the potential that we put a bullish pattern in to move higher to this gap. And we can actually play that as a long and basically just keep a tight stop loss back underneath this little neckline. So that's what I'm watching for. That's what I'm thinking. If we get rejected, we can look for more shorts on this market to ride the trend down. If we get a 5-minute close back above here and put in a bullish pattern, we can look for a little bit of a long trade. Okay? As of now, it's undecided. Undecided. There's two scenarios. What will it be? Or there's a third scenario, we just literally chop sideways for the whole day. But with the strength in the mega caps, I'm thinking that we're going to push through that. And the lighter volume trends, I'm thinking dollar's softening. Nvidia's almost positive. And if the spiders didn't do any consolidation and just pushed for this gap, we can look for a short. Okay? That's another little scenario. And the big level that I'm watching is also this key neckline. Markets are still holding up well. Wow, that Pulte Holmes had a massive bounce. Everything has caught a bounce. Even Tesla, I mean, look at that Tesla trade. You know, we were just in and out very quickly, but massive move. That's the life of a day trader. You quickly get in, you get out. Often you don't catch the full big move, but it means we're safe. Liquidity's in our pocket, and I'm interested in watching this dollar. Look at that collapse. Jeez. That collapse in the dollar is crazy. That should help the markets. If the markets can't rally with that dollar collapsing that hard, that's concerning. But that's a big drop in the dollar. That's not good for the dollar bulls like myself. Could all be temporary. It could all be temporary. Whoa, AI's up 9% now. Jesus. Let me just remove these drawings and see if we have a short level. Interesting. Interesting. So you pierce that. Let me just see here. So AI is coming into some resistance. You have the 50 at 23.45, and then you do have this trend line. So 23.45 may be a decent level to just do a quick short scalp, have a very close tight stop loss, because this stock is already beaten up. But if AI pushes into that 23.45 level, I mean, the volume's light, so that's the only thing that makes me slightly skeptical. More conservative levels around 24.25. So I'm going to monitor this. I'm going to keep AI on the screen. There are two levels I'm watching. 23.45, which we're approaching very quickly in this light volume scenario. I'm probably going to skip that one. And then 24.25 is a little bit more conservative. So let's just keep that on the radar. Spiders, big push here. So the spiders are pushing for that gap. I would actually much prefer to short the spiders. Nvidia went positive, Microsoft went positive, Russell's gone positive, healthcare's under pressure, Apple's trying to move up, Tesla's trying to move up to its gap fill. Spiders are rallying. So AI is approaching that first little resistance. I'm still undecided. If the spiders hit the gap fill and it hits that simultaneously, maybe I would go for a short trade, but we don't have the volume trends in our favor, and the dollar weakness, the fact that the dollar tried breaking out and it's now almost had an intraday failed breakout, leaves me a little bit skeptical. Tesla's almost back to the positive side, filling that gap. So we hit that 23.45 level, basically pierced it by 1 penny, and you can see we got a pullback. So that level's acted well, but the S&P hasn't filled its gap. So let's just see if we can get a little bit higher on an AI, and I would be curious to see if we get a short trade. So it's trying to push back up again, and I want to see if the spiders can hit this gap simultaneously. So you can either do two things. You can short the spiders in and around this vicinity, a pierce of this 407.66. I may just wait for AI. I may wait for AI. AI is trading enough volume, 19.3 million, and it's been weak, so I don't think many people will want to hold it over the weekend. That's kind of my expectations. Spiders are still pushing. Spiders are almost at that gap fill. Let's watch the spiders. Now approaching that 10:14 time frame. AI is pulling back just a little bit. Alright, AI is getting a little bit of a pullback, so I'm going to look at a spider short. I'm still watching AI, and just in case. AI is trying to push back up again. I'm still intrigued by it, especially if it hits simultaneously with that spider level. Markets are trying to push back up though, acting very, very well. Volatility has gone negative, or slightly positive, sorry, slightly positive still. So now that we've gotten a red candle here, you want to let this level pierce this level. You don't want to take it at first shot. Let it pierce it, because basically this move is now taking away from the pullback that could happen off this resistance. AI is pushing up, so that one I'm still liking. AI I'm still liking for a short, but we're going to be see how we would have got a picture perfect trade off that 23.40. You got basically a 30-cent pullback off of that level. Now we want to let it pierce. So that level was technically sound. You can see resistance lies there. But again, the spiders are still trying. And the reason we're seeing this pullback in the spider, really simple. Dollar bounce. That's it. Still a very, very high correlation. Very, very high correlation. Let's take a look at how lumber's doing today, actually. Lumber's negative. So that likely means the markets could go positive today. Nat gas is still under pressure. I don't like the pattern nat gas just formed. That's not good. Not good at all. AI's pulled off the highs. Interesting to see some of the more defensive names like Coca-Cola under pressure, AT&T. So spiders are struggling to get to that gap, very much so. But interesting to note, one of the reasons it's struggling, you simply look at this channel that we've been chopping in. Take a look at that channel. That's why it's struggling here. Likely will get through, but the reason it's being held up here is just the simple resistance. Major pivots, major pivots, major pivot, breakdown, retest, never confirmed, bigger breakdown. If you can't get above here, there's always the chance you go back down to the low end of the range. But I still favor a move higher above here based off of this lighter volume trends, the holiday. Nat gas is coming lower now. It's now negative by 1.27%. It's disappointing. Alright, so there is a potential to buy the spiders at a retrace here. And then on a 5-minute close, if it closes back below this neckline again, you just stop out of the trade. So I'm going to wait and see. I want to see if the dollar keeps bouncing, but that would be a retrace. And then we'd likely get a move to fill this gap. So I might play the SPXL. I'm going to keep that on my screen. Russell's pushing back up. Nvidia is making another move higher. Nat gas is coming down some more now, making a new intraday low. So there's still a potential long trade on nat gas that I'm eyeing up, but it's lower, unfortunately. I might buy the spiders here, guys. I might. Let's just see here. I'm watching the dollar. I'm watching a couple other leading names just to see what type of patterns they're putting in. Gold's catching a bid. Microsoft's under a little bit of pressure. Nat gas keeps trickling lower. I might go long the SPXL. It's a 3 times bull levered ETF to the spiders. We have oil's under a little bit of pressure, still trying to hold up. Nat gas is falling now down 1.8, falling before the 1030 data set. Nat gas is hitting a buyable level, but considering we consolidated above that, really it has to go down to about this 215 level. That's where it gets a little more interesting. Nat gas is under a lot of pressure though. Oil's intriguing at like this gap fill and this double bottom. So I might go long the SPXL, but I'm just waiting for this to tag this trend line. I want to see it tag it. I want to see it tag that level. And if it doesn't tag it, so be it. I don't want it if it doesn't tag it. And they're trying to pop it right before. Should still get down there. You should at least touch that trend line, maybe pierce it. A pierce would be the best scenario for us where we could potentially go long. Natural gas new lows in the intraday session. Spiders are bouncing. That's unfortunate. Of course, they're bouncing it right before that level. Natural gas under a lot of pressure. So we have 5 minutes till the inventories, and basically it is sold off quite substantially. Quite substantially, considering it gapped up today and now it's basically done a full round trip. Dollar softening. Banks are still bouncing. QQQ had a nice big bounce. It's holding up the best. Tesla's still trying to fill its gap to the upside. Natural gas is now getting a bounce. Alright, we'll stay with you till 10:30 just to see these natural gas inventories, but things are quieting down pretty much here. So after we get those inventories, unless the spiders really flush down in here past this level, we don't really want it. If it pierces this trend line, I'm still interested in the SPXL. And again, this is more of also just a portfolio hedge today in case we do get a light volume trend float day. Obviously, we're net short, so I'm okay with holding some longs, especially if we do hit a technical level here. But they're bouncing the spiders now. Apple's pushing up. Everything's pretty much pressing up. All right, we'll flip to the natural gas chart now, just so that we can watch that one together. Because there's about a minute 40 till inventories. It is getting a nice little 10-minute bottoming tail right off of a heavy volume zone, your initial breakout zone. So far they have defended it, which it's good to see. Spiders are still coming down. Level's still technically valid. If we get a pierce, we can go along the SPXL. I am interested. Nat gas is pushing up. Heavy volume coming in on nat gas. That's really good to see for our longs. Obviously, inventories can change things, but the expectations of 21 billion drawdown is very low. Obviously, it's at the tail end of the heating season, which is why it is low, but it does leave room for a larger drawdown considering the consensus is so low. Wow, AMC's up 18%. So AMC is hitting that first short level, seeing if it can push up a little bit more. All right, inventories are coming out in 25 seconds. Keep your eye on that nat gas chart. Let me see what AR is doing. AR is softened up quite a bit today, so that's not a healthy sign. But nat gas, and I may play Boyle if we get a dip on nat gas. Nat gas inventories, 23 billion drawdown, so slightly more than what the market was anticipating. And it's coming down though. I still like maybe Boyle for a long trade. Keep your eye on Boyle. If Boyle can pierce and make a new low around 327, I may be interested in going long Boyle. Spiders are bouncing. Boyle's trying to bounce a little bit. Boyle's dropping here. So we may have a day trade long on Boyle here. Keep it on the radar. I like it at double bottom. If we get a pierce to that 324 level, we will go long Boyle. Let's see what action we can get here. Nat gas is under pressure. But we do have a fundamental backdrop of a higher drawdown in our favor. Spiders are coming down as well. Basically, you can see we got to bounce off that initial level. That's your Your big resistance really lies at this pivot again. Can we get a pierce of this 327? That's the big question. XOM's coming down. Spiders are still trying to hold up. I am interested in shorting AMC at a pierce of $5, preferably at 512. I am interested in shorting AMC, which it is pushing up now. So Boyle's catching a bid. Full disclosure, I did pick up some more Boyle via swing trade with my members at the 331 level. At the 331 level. Keep your eye on AMC. AMC is now coming up into a decent shortable level. Basically, anything into or at this level here. Alright, we're almost at that 10:34 time frame. Spiders are pushing up. AMC is now up over 20% on the session. Microsoft's coming down. Spiders are still pushing up. Alright, I'm going to call the stream to an end because we just seem to be in a little bit of a float mode here. Basically, the spiders look like they want to push up and fill that gap. This pattern is looking constructive. Just keep your eye on the dollar yields and basically a couple of the leaders like Apple, Nvidia, and Tesla, and Microsoft. Those four mega caps are likely going to tell you what the trend is today. And we keep getting rejected off this level. So we could chop and consolidate for quite a long time, but it does favor a break above this level to at least fill this gap. And those volume trends make it very tricky if you're shorting this market. But other than that, congrats on the one trade that we did do today. Tesla long, nice win in our pocket. It is a long weekend, so everybody enjoy their long weekend. Enjoy the stock market close. Pay attention to that labor market data tomorrow. Although the market is closed, typically that data could be very negative considering the employment data that we got throughout the remainder of the week. On that note, thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you on the charts tomorrow. And pay attention to our weekly sector analysis that we will be releasing.